Hello children, I am Mrs. Radha Ketkar from DES Secondary School, Pune. In the last session, we have started our discussion about towards green energy. Last time we discussed about different types of power plants, how they function, and how energy is important for our day-to-day life and also for industries. Now today we are going to talk more about different types of power plants. So let us get started. So we have discussed about different power plants. So let us understand the relation of this electricity generation with the environment. Because there are many different activities which are going on for electricity generation and they can affect the environment. So let us see the two sections which are involved in this particular topic. So the first one, fuels like coal, natural gas is going to lead to emission of harmful gases and soot particles. So we have discussed it in detail earlier also, that it is going to give out some gases like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and we have discussed how harmful they are for the human beings, also for the environment, for different animals and plants. It is also going to affect agriculture. Gases like CO2, they are going to lead to global warming because it is a greenhouse gas. Then SO2, though it is not greenhouse gas, but still it is going to affect the environment. It is going to affect the entire water cycle, you can say. It is going to affect cloud formation and rainfall. So second point, you can see incomplete combustion is going to emit harmful carbon monoxide. Okay, so that is also harmful for us. Increase in percentage of CO2 is going to lead to global warming. Now what causes global warming? CO2 is going to make a kind of blanket. Okay, and in the top layers of atmosphere, it is going to make a kind of blanket and which will not allow the heat to escape. So this is going to give rise to global warming. Then NO2 is going to lead to acid rain and which will be again harmful for the soil. It is going to affect the pH of the soil and which will be harmful for the agricultural sector. Last point, you can see soot particles, they cause the air pollution and also it is harmful for us because it is going to cause different types of respiratory diseases. Then fossil fuel formation itself requires millions of years. Okay, so if we just use up everything, then there will be nothing available for the future generations. So we have to use all these resources prudently. Reserves of coal, crude oil, natural gas like LPG and CNG, liquid petroleum gas and compressed natural gas are limited. Okay, so sustainability is the main point. What do you mean by sustainability? When we are consuming these things, at the same time, we have to take care of our future generations. We are utilizing these things for our own benefit, but at the same time, we have to think about our future generations, that these natural resources should be available for our future generations also. Then nuclear power plant has issues related to radiation and disasters. Okay, so that's why when you consider all these different types of power plants, we always feel a need that there should be some ways which are eco-friendly, right? We are producing electricity, but at the same time we are taking care of our mother nature. Okay, so eco-friendly ways of energy generation must be adopted. So now let us look at another type of power plant, that is hydroelectric power plant. The name will tell you hydro, that means it has to do something with water. Okay, so in this case, potential energy stored in water reservoir will be used as the source of energy. So this is a conventional type of energy power plant, you can say. So what do you mean by potential energy and kinetic energy? So if you raise water to a height, okay, it is going to get that particular gravitational potential energy because you are raising it against the gravity. Okay, so more the height, more is going to be gravitational potential energy. And when you release that water from that top, then that will be converted into kinetic energy. So here we are going to make use of the potential energy which is due to gravity, okay, or gravitational potential energy of water, and we are going to leave that water from top to bottom, okay, or from higher level to the lower level, and that's why it is going to convert this potential energy into kinetic energy. This kinetic energy will be used for moving the turbines. We have discussed that turbines have to rotate, and for that you can make use of different energy forms. So earlier we have made use of steam, or in natural gas power plant, the burning of natural gas itself will drive the turbine. But in this case, directly the water jet will be used for moving the turbine blades. This turbine will drive the generator, and generator in turn will produce electricity. Okay, in the picture you can see kinetic energy and potential energy relation. On top, potential energy of the ball is maximum, and when it is coming down, you can see the kinetic energy keeps on increasing. Exactly same principle we are going to make use of in this power plant, where potential energy in water will be converted into kinetic energy, and which is going to drive the turbines. Look at the picture of hydropower plant. You can see on the left hand side there is a reservoir. You can see a dam. Also you can see down there is a control gate, okay, from where the water is going to enter the penstock or the pipe which you can see there. Okay, now this water will be coming with force. That's why the turbine is going to rotate. To the turbine you can see the generator is attached. So generator magnets will be moving, and as we are having the movement of magnets with respect to the coil, the electricity will be produced. Then as usual, transformer will do its job of changing the voltage, and then it will be going on the power lines. So you can see a powerhouse there. So this is how the entire hydroelectric power plant is going to work. Okay. Also you can see that the control gate is at little lower level. Okay. So that it can get maximum force of water. Let us discuss what are the advantages of hydroelectric power plant. So in this entire process, you must have observed that we have not burnt anything. Okay. So there is no water converted into steam. Okay. So you don't have to boil water. There is nothing like natural gas which is burning over there. So there is no burning process. So obviously that kind of pollution will be avoided. So first point, no fuel is burnt, hence no pollution, no gases will be given out. Then secondly, if there is sufficient water supply, we can generate electricity as and when we require it. Okay, so there is no restriction of time. When you only requirement is availability of water. So if it is available, definitely you can produce electricity whenever it is required. And also used water can be replenished in the rainy season, right? So you can see all these are advantages of hydroelectric power plant. But still there are some problems associated with this kind of power plant. So what are the problems? You can see the first one, the backwater may submerge villages, and that is going to lead to problem of rehabilitation. Okay, so it is going to literally cover many different villages, so those people have to migrate to some different places. Okay, so it might be a problem for many villages in that particular area. So it can be a problem to many villages which are there in that area. Second one, it can submerge forest and also the fertile land, right? So this is also going to affect that area. Third point, the obstruction of the flow of river water is going to have adverse effect on the aquatic life. Okay, so directly, even if we don't have any pollutants added, but still indirectly it is going to harm the population, and it is also going to harm nature. So what are the debatable points? No air pollution, okay, because there is nothing burnt in this particular case, but there are some other issues like migration of large community, then submerging of forest and fertile land, and also the problem about aquatic life. So all these problems need to be considered whenever we talk about hydroelectric power plant. Look at the flow chart. Water reservoir with potential energy that is going to move the water turbine, that will move the magnets in the generator, and electricity will be produced. What is the energy conversion? Potential energy in water will be converted into kinetic energy in flowing water, kinetic energy in the turbine, and will produce electrical energy. So this is the energy conversion. You can see different examples or different power plants. Tehari in Uttarakhand, Koyna, Maharashtra, then Sri Shailam, Andhra Pradesh, and Napta Zakri in Himachal Pradesh. Let us start with a different type of power plant now, which is going to make use of wind energy. So you can see a windmill here. Here you are going to have an axle of the turbine which is connected to the generator. So once this particular wind turbine rotates, it is going to move the magnets in the generator. Okay. Also you can see in picture there is something called as a gearbox. Okay. So that is going to increase the number of rotations per unit time. And once you have the turbine generator combination, generator can give you electricity. You can see wind turbines of different sizes and different capacities. Can be as small as just 1 kilowatt or can be as huge as 7 megawatt. The selection obviously depends on the wind speed in that particular area, what is the geographical location where that particular place is situated, and need of energy in that particular area. Okay, so this is a large installation, you can say. Okay, so it is expensive. You have to also consider the lifespan of this windmill. Okay, so it is said that around 25 to 30 years it is going to serve you, but there is huge installation cost which is involved. So all these points have to be considered whenever you are thinking of building wind energy power plant of this type. Now we are going to talk about electricity generation using solar energy. So in this case, totally we are going to talk about green energy, because you can see that there are no pollutants created in this particular type. Okay. So in solar energy also, the power generation can be done in two different ways. Okay. So the first one, you can see direct generation of energy without using the generator and electromagnetic induction. Okay, so in this first process we are not at all going to deal with the generator and turbine combination. Okay, so it is totally based on a different concept, that is nothing but using photovoltaic cells. So what are these photovoltaic cells? Photo relates to photons. Okay, so what are photons? They are nothing but electromagnetic radiation, so packets of that energy. Okay, and voltaic will relate to potential difference, volt, right? So using this particular packets of electromagnetic radiation, that is nothing but photons, we are going to get potential difference created. Okay, that means we will be able to produce electrical energy. Okay, so how this is done is not in your scope, but still I can tell you that we are going to make use of different kinds of materials over here. One will be of positive type, another one will be of negative type. Okay, so that's why both the things together is known as PN junction. Okay, so here the electrons will be moving towards the positive side, and the holes, I'm not saying negative particles, I'm saying holes, are going to move towards the opposite end. Okay, and because of this there will be potential difference which is created, and this can give us electricity, right? And the second type of power plant, you can see solar energy can be converted into thermal energy. Then this thermal energy will be used, that means you are heating water and getting steam out of it, and this steam will be used for moving the turbine blades, will move the generator magnets, and then electricity will be produced. So this second method is, you can say, the traditional method which we have learned so far. Okay, so we are having two different methods, as I said, one using the photovoltaic cells and another one is our traditional method of turbine generator combination. So see the first one, solar photovoltaic cell. This cell is directly going to convert solar energy into electrical energy. And here the energy is going to be of DC type. That means it is direct current. So for small appliances, it can be used. Okay. And we know whenever we have to take this electrical energy to larger areas, when it has to be transmitted from one place to remote locations, then it has to be of AC type. Okay. So it has to be of alternating current type. Okay. Now solar cells are made up using semiconductors, and the major material which we are going to make use of here is nothing but silicon. So you can see, for example, it is given a cell of dimension say 1 square centimeter is going to give you current of 30 milliampere and potential difference of 0.5 volt. Okay, so keeping this basic structure in mind, we can calculate for a particular panel how much energy will be produced. Now we can see, as we have talked about one cell, we can have multiple cells in series. Do you remember, children, last year you have done series and parallel combinations? So what happens in series and what happens in parallel? So let us revise it quickly and then we can talk about our solar cells. So if two solar cells are connected in series, then the potential difference obtained is the addition of potential difference of individual cells. Okay, so if you remember, last year you have done V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3 and so on. Okay, so this is possible when you are connecting the cells in series. Okay, and what happens to the current in this particular situation? The current generated will be equal to the current generated from individual cell. Okay, so that means you are not going to add all the currents of different cells, right? So that number remains as it is, and that's why it is going to increase the potential difference, but the current will remain same. Okay, so in right side picture also you can see two cells are connected in series. First one is having V1 and second one with V2, and V total will be addition of V1 and V2. So let us take few examples here. If you are having solar cells in parallel, now you can see that clear structure in the picture. 4 panels, they are wired in parallel. Okay, so on top you can see all positive signs, down you can see all negative signs, so that shows a parallel type of connection, and each panel is going to have 12 volt and 5 ampere capacity. Okay, so what happens in this case? In this case, if you see the output, 12 volt remains as it is, but down you can see that the currents are added. Okay, so 5 coming 4 times for each panel, so that means it will give you 20 amperes of current. Okay, so let us summarize this. Potential difference is same as the potential difference obtained from individual cells. So here in this case, potential difference is not to be added. Okay, just copy one value from one panel. Okay, and what is going to happen with the current? Currents will be added. That is going to be addition of all the currents of the individual cells. Okay, another example here. We are having 36 solar cells, each of size 100 centimeter square, and they are connected in series in a solar panel. So what will be the potential difference and current if each cell is going to generate current of 3 ampere and has the potential difference of 0.5 volt? Okay, so how will you find out the answer? Cells are connected in series, and we know for series we are going to make use of the formula V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3 and so on, depending on how many you are having in that particular series. Okay, so here potential difference is given as 0.5. So 0.5 will be added 36 times, right? So that is going to give you total potential difference, or V is equal to 18 volt. And what happens to the current? Current will be same as individual current of one cell. Okay, so I will be equal to I1, equal to I2, equal to I3 and so on. Okay, and for each one they are having 3 ampere as the current. Okay, so what will be the output? 18 volt and 3 ampere. Another example, you can solve it yourself, try it yourself. 4 solar cells of 12 volt and 8 ampere. Okay, they are connected in parallel. So in this solar panel, what is going to be the total potential difference and current? Now you can calculate. It is given clearly that it is in parallel. Okay. And if it is in parallel, we know that we have to add the currents. Okay. So I is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4. Okay. And each of them is having 8 amperes of current. So 8 fours are, that gives you 32 ampere as the result. And potential difference, that will be taken just from one individual panel. Okay, so here it is going to be 12 volt. So total potential difference is same as potential difference of individual cells. So what is the net output? We are going to have 12 volt and 32 ampere. Okay, so different examples you can see. In the first picture you can see 0.5 each. Okay, so that is going to give you output of 2 volt. Then down first picture on the left hand side you can see 150 watt is the power associated with each one. So if you total it up, that is going to give you 600 watt as the total power. Okay, and in the last picture you can see a combination of series and parallel. First one is series, you can check 12 volt and 5 ampere. Okay, in series voltage will be added. So 12 plus 12, that gives you 24 volt multiplied by 5 ampere as it is. Just take it from one particular cell or panel. So that is going to give you 120 watt as the total power. Okay, and in the last picture you can see it is 12 volt multiplied by 10 ampere because that is connected in parallel. Okay, but in both the cases output remains the same as 120. So we can see how exactly the solar panels are created. First picture you can see a small cell. You connect all these cells in a series. So that gives you the second picture, that is nothing but a module. Okay. Then attach so many modules in a series and you get a string. Right. And attach all these strings in parallel and that gives you a solar array. See the conversion, solar cell can be used in battery or can be stored in battery. You can make use of inverters if you want to change the type of current, and then you can have equipment working on AC power. Why this inverter is required? Because as I said that you are going to get the DC type of current, and for the different types of devices you might need AC power. Okay, so we can make use of inverters which can change this DC type of current into AC type of current. You can see clearly shown in the picture, you are harnessing the solar energy. It is getting converted into electrical energy. Also you can see DC AC hybrid inverter there. Okay, so that will be doing the conversion part. Okay, it can be stored in battery and can be used later on also. So energy generated using solar cells is DC, so you can use it directly. This energy is available only in presence of sunlight, so you can store it in batteries and you can use it later on. Most of the equipment work on AC, so you will have to convert DC to AC. Okay, so you can make use of inverters. A transformer transforms the voltage and current levels and then feeds it to the distribution network. You can see the entire picture here. What happens in daytime, you are harnessing the solar energy, and night time you are using that energy which is stored. Look at the advantages of the solar power plant. Okay, so no fuel combustion is required, so no pollution. Solar energy is available free of cost, and India is very lucky in that particular sense. In India we get sunlight for most of the months, right? So we can harness this energy. And what are the limitations? If sunlight is not available, power generation is going to stop. Power production is possible only during daytime, and also we have to consider the cost factor. Installation will be costly. Also, when I told you about the solar power plants, I told you about two options. In the first one, that is using directly the photovoltaic cells, and second one is the usual method. Okay, so thermal solar power plants, thermal energy can be generated using solar radiation. Okay, and this energy is used for heating water. Then that is going to produce steam. Steam will rotate the turbine, will drive the generator, and electricity will be produced. Sustainability. So what do you mean by this? That if I am utilizing everything, then maybe my future generations will not get the required things. Okay, so just conclude, we will conclude at this particular point. So let us keep sustainability in mind. Thank you so much.